Having a pro in the house is a gift and a curse.
This is so awesome. So you guys have met before, right?
I don't know if we have.
I don't think we have. I think we met a lot of the same people. We know a lot of the same people, but I don't think the two of us have ever met.
Well, I'm very excited to have you on the show because you are our first non-musician, but you are just as well traveled as many musicians.
I've been on the road before. I'm a previous merch guy, so like.
And I mean, I think that the last time I saw you, with the exception of your recent trip to Philly, was Warped Tour, so that counts for something as well.
That's true. I get down at the Warped Tour and I travel, so it's like, so what if I don't know how to tune a guitar?
Neither do I.
Oh, fair. Do you know how to tune a drum?
Sure.
Okay.
I can't
do that.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay. So we've got a nice little triangle of talent here.
Yeah. Somewhere in between there, we all make up a real well-traveled person.
Perfect.
Which is cool. And you also, we'll get into this in a minute, but you picked some really fun locations that are, dare I say, like, not the most well-traveled touring destinations. Dave, would you agree?
Yeah, I've only been there probably 3 times in the 20 plus years that I've been touring. So
wow. I mean, I would argue they're both C markets.
Yeah, definitely Portland, and Edmonton too. Yeah,
Portland's maybe turning into a B market. We'll get into that later.
We'll get into that later. So you want to just let us know where you are based currently?
I live and operate out of Orange County, California. I live in the beautiful city of Orange, and our business is in Costa Mesa.
Lovely. So I like that we do tend to have a lot of guests from the Orange County area. As
interesting.
I don't know, just a lot of good people, a lot of good friends.
A lot of people accumulate here. Like, it's like, I don't know, if you're into anything good and cool, you find your way to California.
This is very true.
I'm not dropping a hint.
We'll have to finish out the show. We'll have to finish out where you and Dave talk about the good spots that you can eat around in Orange County.
Oh, but, Dave, where do you live?
I'm in Huntington Beach.
Oh, well, we should figure this out then.
Yeah, I'm down the street.
Just friends meeting friends, coming together.
Yeah. We're gonna need to get into something, Dave.
Yeah.
Socially distant hangs. It's gonna be great.
I distance with the best of them.
So good. So, all right.
That's great.
We asked you to pick one international destination and one domestic destination. And dare I say, they're not that far apart.
I mean, fair. Yeah, they are your classic, your gritty blue collar C-list destinations, but those are kind of the places that, like, we notice as we travel that food and people are pretty much how you can, like, decipher an area really easily. And that's why I was super stoked about your guys' podcast, because it's like, food stuff is like, so, like, you think like Guy Fieri, which Guy Fieri is fucking awesome, but it's also, like, very real. Like, you can go to the local coffee shop on tour and hang for a couple hours and get a vibe of the neighborhood. And, like, you can know, like, oh, is this somewhere I want to be based on eateries and things, so it's a nice little barometer of the area. And the two areas are sort of similar in that respect.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you picked Edmonton, Alberta as your
Edmonton, Alberta.
I've got to say, I've only been once.
Really?
So I'm really going to let the conversation go between you and Dave. Yeah, I went, and it was on that tour, Dave, that we did with the Bronx.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you've been once and it was only with Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Where were we? Oh, we were, was that little hall?
It was the Needle. We played the Needle. And I believe the venue has shut down permanently. I'm not sure if that is
If that's 100%.
COVID related or if
Oh,
it's something. I also saw some other news that someone who owned the place did some not so great things, but we're
Canadian
not
did
going to
bad things
talk
though?
about that. So yeah, I've only been once, and I did go to a coffee shop, but I tried to find it, couldn't find it, and I believe that I ate dinner at the venue. So I don't have an awful lot to add. I think that Canada is beautiful, and I love
Okay.
all of it.
Okay,
But
that's fair.
I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Dave, have you ripped anything in Edmonton? What do you got?
This was another hard one for me too, just
Mhm.
because not the few times, but the couple times that I've been to Edmonton, it's always been close to the venue. We played one venue that was in a mall. It wasn't the big mall there,
Yeah.
but it was connected to one. And then the last time we were there, I think we ate like Subway or something crazy. It was just like, trying to save money and just get whatever. And then the last time I was there, I actually did go to a place, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was pretty close to the venue that I think we played at. But it was I think it was a Chinese restaurant where they have the soup that cooks your meat and everything in it.
Oh,
And
okay.
noodles
Not teppanyaki.
yeah,
Like a hot pot situation.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that
That's
was
nice.
really good. And there was also a Mexican restaurant right not too far, which I did just to do it, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I could be really critical of Mexican places
From Huntington
everywhere,
Beach?
but
Yeah.
I was nice.
I mean, that's the other thing with food that people will say, like, there's no way Mexican food in Canada was good. But food is so situational that, like, maybe you've been on tour for 6 weeks and it's just the genre, just finding the genre
Oh
in
yeah,
itself. You're like, whatever, this isn't the best burrito I've ever had, but maybe right now it is the best burrito I've ever had.
yeah. I'm still not going to get a real one for another 4 weeks, so
Yeah.
this will do.
This is better than Subway.
Yeah.
And then there's always that possibility that there is a straight up incredible traditional Mexican restaurant in a place that should not have one, arguably.
For sure.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's the coolest thing. And sometimes it's hard because you have these incredible experiences and on tour, and then you come home and you have to question whether or not it was the mirage or if it was legit.
See,
Yeah.
I talk about this with food quite often, where people will say, like, out in Palm Springs is the best breakfast I've ever had. And I'm like, is it have anything to do with you weren't around your kids? It was just you and your wife. You've been gone for 3 days. You just got out of the pool, and then you had those pancakes. And they're like, maybe. I'm like,
Possible.
yeah.
Since you were 21.
Yeah, it's like that's the vibe. You walk out on the street in New York and eat a slice of pizza and look around, you're like, this is the best pizza I've ever had.
Yeah.
But is it? I don't know.
I will argue with you on that, but that's
I'll take it. That's fine.
So,
as long as we have it over a slice.
So I have 0 recommendations. Dave has none that he can name.
Subway.
Yeah, I like
an unnamed Chinese place. Nice.
There's also like a little a place called the Walk Box that was pretty good. It's kind of like a little chain, like a Panda Express or something that's in Canada, but it's called Walk Box.
Okay.
So I remember that one. Those are cool when you're quick.
In that same vein, there's a chain there that's owned by these like younger like hockey dudes. So we're kind of tight with them. It's called Noodle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like, kind of that pickup sticks price point like Chinese food, but their whole ad campaign is they just started beef with pizza. So like as a chain, they just collectively, all of their advertising is anti-takeout pizza. And they'll just be like, pizza is a bunch of dicks. They've been doing like this and just made like fake beef like they're people. And it's incredible. So Noodle. Yeah. Right. And great name, fun. One of our spots we frequent, so small backstory, Violent Gentlemen as a whole, we vacation differently than most people, and Edmonton came up on my list because it's a spot that we've gone there like 5 or 6 times in the last couple of years, because we kind of do a thing like, you know, the surf movie Endless Summer, where they just try to stay with the summer. We do the opposite, where we want to keep a jacket on as long and early as possible. So we go to Edmonton for vacation, and we go up there and we go to a hockey game. We play hockey outside. We go snowboard, like we ice fish, do all these rad ice activities. And it's the best thing ever. So right outside one of our favorite little like neighborhood ice rinks is a coffee shop called Little Brick. And these guys essentially saw that this one house was zoned commercial, because like when the area was built, it was like the foreman's house or something like that. So it had to be zoned commercial. And they found that out and bought it and turned it into a business. So it's literally one house in the center of a huge neighborhood. It's a coffee shop. And it's so rad. It's the coolest vibe. They have great coffee. They have great food. And so the bottom floor is their cafe, and their upstairs of the house is their office that they run their main business out of. And it's just like, well, I talked about that, getting that neighborhood coffee vibe. It's like the perfect, like literally only people from the neighborhood go there. So you go in and you're like, oh, okay, this is the sum of the people that live here based on these 9 people I interact with right now, which I think is such a cool vibe.
That's awesome.
That's rad.
So it is extremely far away from every venue though. And I know this because one of the times we were in Edmonton, I was chatting with someone who, if you haven't had on yet, Ian Perkins.
Yeah, Ian.
We're texting and I'm like, oh, I'm in Edmonton. He's like, oh, that's crazy. I'm in Winnipeg. And I'm like, wait a minute. Are you going east or west? And he's like, we're in Edmonton tomorrow. What's up? So we met up, went and saw the Northern Lights, but it was this whole area. We remember looking at me like, oh, this is kind of far from the venue. So it's going to be a little bit of an Uber over to the Little Brick, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That sounds great.
So put that on your list when touring comes back.
I just want to go on vacation with Violent Gentlemen because that sounds really fun.
Hey, one trip we snowmobiled to ice fishing. We played hockey outside. We went sledding. I'll send you the video recap. I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but we got paid by Edmonton Tourism to make a video about Edmonton.
So sick.
So we kind of go hard.
Rad.
I grew up snowmobiling. My dad grew up every year he would drive a snowmobile from Old Fords all the way up to Montreal.
Whoa, that's great.
Yeah.
That's like a real
I
snowmobile
did
trip.
for my driver's license when I was 16 because I got into a massive snowmobile accident.
No way.
Free to drive until I was.
Wow. With like a tree or with like another snowmobile?
I had just gotten my snowmobile license and we were on the trails up in the Adirondacks, and I was young and I hit what I thought was like something, if I just hit the gas I could get through it, but it turned out it was a root of a tree, and I flew off a 10-foot cliff and the snowmobile landed on top of me, and
No way.
the thing was totaled, but I was somehow completely fine. Like I had one ski here and the other across my legs, and somehow
No way.
lifted up off me. And my dad told me I was not allowed to do that ever again.
That's fair. That's okay.
Oh, man.
Fun,
Dang, that's crazy.
I love winter, and that's one of the reasons I'm pretty stoked to still be back on the East Coast again, because I do love winter.
Yeah, real winter is cool. Growing up, Dave knows, in California, it's straight up it legit doesn't exist.
No.
Not even a funny version of it.
Okay.
No.
So we've got the chain restaurant, we've got the coffee spot. Do you have a restaurant in mind?
So I have a place that I love, but I know you won't love because it's literally called Meat.
But Dave will love.
Okay, Dave, I got you then. There's a place called Meat. It's a barbecue restaurant, and it's just like your classic, tons of meat options, but also tons of different barbecue sauce options, and it's just super legit. And these guys were trying to sell us on it. We're kind of like, oh, I don't know, whatever. And then we went there, and players from the Edmonton Oilers were eating there, and we're like, all right, this is legit. We're in. And
sounds
it's
great.
just, there's something different about eating in Canada. I don't know, the vibe. Canadians are just great. So the service is always out of this world, always fantastic. And like, that's what you pay for when you go out to eat. Like, you could make a sandwich at your house, but to pay someone to make a sandwich, you pay for this nice person and this conversation and, you know, maybe some better ingredients, whatever, but you pay for that interaction also. And so it's always nice in Canada. Everywhere people are nice and excited for you to try their restaurant, and it's a great time.
What'd you get?
But we got everything.
You know what? I didn't even ask.
Yeah, just sample it all, see what happens.
Everything.
Kaylee will grab you like probably, maybe there's like a vegetable side. I don't know. Potentially. I don't know.
All good.
Sorry. Me and Dave are going to go hard though.
Please, by all means.
We'll grab you a sandwich at Little Brick before we go.
So did they have any like, was it like a straight up Southern barbecue restaurant? Or did they have like other strange kinds of meats like venison, anything like that?
I feel like I remember being pretty standard issue. I think being Canadian, they might have had like an elk option or like something a little bit more gamey that maybe you wouldn't traditionally see in the US or at least on the West Coast. But it was like Edmonton as a whole has just had this huge resurgence. So, I mean, they built this new NHL arena. I know that wasn't necessarily part of it, but things like Little Brick started popping up where people are like, it's kind of like, it was almost too easy. So I didn't choose Buffalo as my American city.
That I could have done in a heartbeat.
I know, spoiler alert. I didn't choose Buffalo, but it's kind of like that where like they're getting like, it's almost like the internet is helping people like see stuff that's in like cool cities. And they're like, we can do that here. Why can't Edmonton have a cool coffee spot or a cool barbecue place or a cool, that like, we just learned how to do it. We bring it here and here we are. So
that's great.
Nice.
It's such a good, it's such a good middle ground when you're going from west to east in Canada or vice versa. So,
yeah,
I mean,
for sure,
you know, it's usually right in the middle of whatever that tour is. So it's a good idea to have a place like that right in the middle, you know, that can book in the West Coast and, you know, Toronto, Montreal. It's like the big cities, you know.
Oh yeah. And
cool.
that's a tough transition going from, if you're going from Vancouver to Edmonton to Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. Because once you get to Winnipeg, you're always a little bummed out.
You're in it when you're in the peg. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, people like, we have a good friend, Nicole, who's from Winnipeg, and her family would vacation in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, that's a spot. I mean, that mall's sick though. Like that, I think the West Edmonton Mall just trumps the Mall of America. Mall of America's trash in comparison.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
It's a good time. So
That's
visit Edmonton.
This is just an advertisement for Edmonton.
Yeah. Look, they paid me one time to make a video and like.
Oh,
and
you didn't know they're paying us too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I legally now have to mention them every time I talk about Edmonton. Visit it. It's beautiful. And it's only a few hour drive to Banff, which is sick.
That's awesome. Banff is great.
So I also really enjoy the fact that more often than not, we eat at great places, but we can't remember what they're called. And you just noodle, and then the barbecue spot that's called Meat. Like those are two very like distinct places. Tell you exactly what you're going to get.
I'm making it very easy for you guys. And the coffee spot that's in a brick house is just the Little Brick.
Little Brick. Love it.
There you go.
That's so cool.
You can figure it out.
Perfect.
Okay, so domestic.
Ooh.
We gave away the fact that you talked about Portland, but now I think we should tell them which one.
Oh, that's a great point. And I did some Googling at one point because I thought it was interesting that there's two Portlands on either coast. And the people that discovered Portland, Oregon, one of them was from Portland, Maine, and the other, it was a guy from Portland, Maine and a guy from Boston, and they flipped a coin to say which place it would be named after. And the guy from Portland, Maine won. So Portland, Oregon is named after Portland, Maine.
Over a coin flip.
That's awesome.
Coin flip.
Wow.
I don't know, man. Google.
You're a wealth of information, Hammer.
Yeah, I did my research. I got a notepad.
I love it.
Like, I'm really trying to turn it up for this.
Well, and me, I'm just like, well, here's what I've got to bring to the table. I went.
I mean, you look like you're in a museum. There's a T-Rex head behind you.
Yep.
There's a book on, like, we get it. You're learning how to speak Italian.
No, that's all Joe. Dummies, yeah.
You have a very cultured setup. I love it. There's an old camera. There's a Buddha.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you're telling the tale.
Thank you.
Dave's a fan of wood grain. Like, everyone's in the zone. It's perfect.
It's
For
true.
that, though, I have to tell you, top notch. It's really fantastic.
It's true. Thank you. So yes, I chose Portland, Maine. This is because my fiance is from, she made sure that I would mention she's not from Portland. She's from Scarborough, which is 10 minutes away from Portland. That's her neighborhood, though. She wanted to make sure that was well represented. So I started going back there with her, obviously, and I'm so glad that I did, because it's such an amazing, Maine in general is amazing. And then the Portland area has kind of had this like cool resurgence. So, and it's funny, we end up eating in like her neighborhood a lot, which is funny because legit 10 minutes away, there's like these new incredible restaurants. And a lot of times we end up eating at like the bagel spot down from the house. That's like, it has now changed its name, which I had to notate. It is now called Maine Bagel. Just a shout out to Maine Bagel. They are awesome, family-owned business, super rad. So we end up there, or we end up at this place called Amato's. That's like a chain Italian place. I don't even know if it's outside Maine, but they're definitely all over Maine. But it's like those things, I get the joy of like, where like on tour, you're just kind of eating like, okay, what's here? Like, what's a 5-minute walk, or what's this, what's that? I get a different thing. When we go to Maine, I get Carlin wanting to eat the thing she ate growing up, because she hasn't lived in Maine for, I think, 10 years at this point. So she's like, I want to eat the pizza place on my parents' street. I'm like, all right, what's up? Let's go. So that's like our starter spot. Then we roll into the city, and there is a lobster roll place that is, I never loved lobster, and I never loved lobster rolls until I ate at, non-paid, I got the merch.
High Roller.
High Roller Lobster Company. This place is
I've been there.
You've been? How good?
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, it's great.
Yes. So I think the name High Roller, it feels like it's weed referencing. They kind of have like a little bit of a weed vibe about their art and stuff, which isn't me at all, but I back them super hard. Tons of options. They have some non-lobster options, which is rad. They have a million sauces. It's incredible.
How did you not like lobster before?
I don't know. I think on the West Coast it's expensive. So it was kind of like, it was just like steak is expensive, but I love steak, so I'll spend. But I'm not going to spend on something I'm like kind of on the fence about. In Maine, it's bananas. Like Carlin goes to the grocery store and we'll get like 2 full lobsters, and it's like $30 or something. Like, and they're steamed already. You just crack them and start eating, and like, it's bananas. Like, so that like kind of changed the game a little bit, where it gave me room to like actually try things. And I think in California, it's very like high-end lobster only, or it used to be at least, where there I could go to places and like grab a lobster roll, and that was a lot more my vibe, I think.
Yeah, I feel like California is very like surf and turf is one of the only places you see lobster like being. For
sure. Yeah. Well, now we have lobster rolls, but it's from a food truck called Maine Brothers, and it's brothers from Maine that started a lobster truck. So it's like, sure, come on over, guys. Show us what we're missing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's great. I'm glad you've been there, Dave. That's great.
Yeah, it's really great. Because I usually when I go there, I go to Jay's Oyster first, and that's like the old school, right on the water.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've been there, but everybody's in their 60s and up.
Nice.
And it's real, the old school simple way. It's just lobster, lettuce, mayo on a hot dog bun.
Yep.
And it's friggin' awesome. And
sure.
I'd gone there every time we've gone there. And then just one day I was like, I need to find something else. I need to venture out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a walk around. We were staying right downtown, and I fell upon High Roller. And I went in and that was like my third lobster roll that day. So I was like,
so it really had to impress you.
Oh yeah. So, and it was awesome. It was really good.
That's great.
I was really stoked. Yeah, that town has so much stuff. I mean, I've had good Indian food there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Had, good breakfast spots.
Oh yeah, they have a diner right there called Becky's. That's like top level diner vibe. That was like, it was like the first like 24-hour diner there or something, and it was for all this like men that worked in the port. So when they like either got to work early or were getting off late, they had somewhere to eat. I won't hold it against them that they are a Pepsi establishment and they have a Pepsi logo on their sign, but like other than that, they're good.
Do they also have those spots that the bars are open at like 7 a.m. as well?
Oh, I don't know. Neither Carlin or I drink. So we like, a lot of people have said stuff about cool bars in Portland, and we're like, oh man, like I wish I knew.
Yeah, I mean, I guess unless they have really good food, if you don't drink, then it's just not on your radar. But I do know that a lot of places like in Long Island and Boston too, the same thing, they're open really early for the people who get off their shifts.
Damn, that's sketchy.
Right?
Yeah. Like, oh, I just finished driving these boats. I need to get a couple beers before I drive home.
And also, that's like at the end of like however long their shift is, at like 6 o'clock in the morning, like you're not going to be delirious after that.
Yeah.
They're already wobbly.
Yeah, right? Because now they got their land legs, totally different.
To get their sea legs back to walk on home, because that's what they're used to.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
Oh, that makes sense.
Note that on the notepad. That's an interesting theory.
Question: do you ever
Yes.
talk with the Connecticut lobster roll?
The only thing I know about Connecticut is that where you drive? No, that's New Hampshire, right? You drive through to get to Maine from Boston. I don't think you drive through Connecticut, right?
I mean, just the style of lobster roll.
Oh, what's a Connecticut style?
I'm not familiar with it either.
On garlic bread, and
Yes.
it's hot and it's covered in butter.
Okay, so that's more so what high roller is, I think. Right?
I think. Well, yeah. I think they have a few different ones like that.
Yeah, in comparison to like a hot dog bun one.
Yeah, with just
the high
mayo.
roller one is like at least in like a panini press or something like that.
Yeah, they do a lot of different stuff to it.
Because that's my jam. The thing I love. I think the reason I love lobster so much is that it's in butter, and I love butter.
Yeah, that's hard to. That's Carlin's jam. When we go back and she eats lobster, like gets them at the store, she gets them in the store and goes in like the dining room and has like a huge bowl of melted butter and legit is like, leave me alone. Yeah. I need to just be one and make a mess and dip it in a ton of butter.
Put all the lobster in there and then kind of eat it like it's a butter soup.
Exactly. And she like doesn't want anyone to see this disgusting mess. Like, and I'm like, hey, you go, babe. I'll see you after.
All over his sweat.
Yeah. She literally like puts a towel across her lap and like just goes to town. It's amazing. Yeah. So are you back? Are you back to eating a lot? Would you eat a lobster right now?
I would eat a lobster right now. Yeah. I don't eat a ton of meat. I kind of like, but we talk about a lot of meat on the show because I'm not the kind of person, like you also know this from eating out with me. I'm very much a fan of eating or trying whatever is the place that we're in.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like, I have my own stances and I try to eat as little meat as possible, but seafood I still love, especially if you're getting it fresh and like from a sustainable source that's not, a freezer per se. I love lobster.
So you'll crush a lobster roll today.
Yeah, we actually just discovered that there's a pop-up spot in Philly.
Oh, tell me more. Huh? I'll throw a little Philly love in here. What else? What's this pop up about?
You want to know what? I don't remember what it's called. I want to say it's like the Catch or something like that. It's in another restaurant. I'm gonna Google it after this. I didn't do my research because I didn't think we were talking about Philly.
So you should have known. You can't see because it's blurry. You can't see that it's blurry, but this is a Flyers flag that's right here behind me. So Philly love in our And then Dave's got a Baltimore hat. We're all over the place right now.
And I'm just in a museum somewhere, so.
You legit look like you're in a museum. Like I just
My
got
dad
called
made
into the museum director's office.
My father made this. It's a lamp. And it's my favorite thing in the house.
Wait, that's a lamp and it's not just on?
Well, no. I don't know. We have a dimmer on it, but like I just don't have it plugged in. I just have it as kind of like a statement piece.
Yeah, I would just put that on a timer and
It's
just like that just turns on at dusk and that's just there.
It's really cool. It casts the creepiest shadows on the walls.
Yeah. Get that thing fired up. This shouldn't just be on a shelf.
It's got its perch.
It's a great spot, but get that thing powered up.
I will do that. All right,
drill
we
hole.
are winding down
Oh,
the time clock here.
Okay.
Let's real quick talk about where you're eating in Orange County right now.
oh. Right now is kind of a weird time with the COVID. So we're attempting to spread our dollars out amongst as many mom and pop-esque locations as possible. So all of our local diners, restaurants, coffee shops, eateries. We have a ton of coffee at our house. We're still door dashing coffee a couple times a week just to like throw at them what we normally would. You know what I mean? That's the hard thing is making sure like we did the math and like this one diner by our house, we were giving them like hundreds of dollars a month. And we're like, we were talking about the other day, we're like with our group that would go there once a week or whatever, like none of us are going there. So we have to just order food from them. You know what I mean? Like if we're just one group of people and that's, one person's salary, it's like, we got to keep supporting these places as much as we can. So we've been trying to support them. We've also supported Cheesecake Factory simply because they're the most punk people ever. And right when COVID started, they're like, we're not paying rent. No, nowhere. And like, everyone was like, yeah, you know what? Cheesecake isn't, we're not either. And I kind of like that. So we did support that last night.
I love me the Cheesecake Factory.
Give me top 3 mom and pops in Orange County that you love.
Wow. I mean, there's a burrito spot called Burritos La Palma. I don't know if you've been there, Dave.
Which city?
It's in Anaheim. It's on Euclid. Hole in the wall, super dope. The family's from a town in Mexico called Jerez. And they're like these small, like they do like goat and like some kind of weird meats, but it's awesome. Even their bean and cheese is awesome. Like these tiny little burritos. It's super dope. We eat at a diner that's called Catella Grill. It's just like a straight up diner, but like we just think it's a regular diner. But then the guys from Mercy Union stayed at our house while they were out here, and they're just New Jersey boys to the heart. And I'm like, oh, it's a diner. And we get there and they're like, your diner has an Impossible Burger? I'm like, oh yeah. They're like, this isn't a diner. And then they're like, your diner has nitro cold brew? I'm like, welcome to California. Like, this is diner food. So those are probably a couple of those are like our main staples, because we haven't done anything that's like outside of our like quick reach lately, because it's kind of weird. There is a Mexican spot in LA called, oh my God, Carl's gonna kill me for not knowing, it's her favorite Mexican restaurant. We drove up there for her birthday and ate it in the back of my car.
Love it.
Because she was just like, all I want to do for my birthday is eat my favorite Mexican food. And salsa and beer. It's called Salsa and Beer. There's like a few in LA. Super dope.
How would you forget the name of that one?
I know, that was close. That would have been bad if I didn't give Salsa and Beer a plug.
If you've gotten takeout this week, where was it at?
The last thing I did was In-N-Out, because my little one has been wanting In-N-Out really bad. So I finally gave in, and I'll probably do my burrito place soon.
Ooh, tell me more.
Which is it's called Fiesta Grill, and it's in Huntington Beach, and it's off 17th and in between Palm and I believe it's Orange.
Yep. Hey, okay. Fiesta Grill is sick, and I love that you're the same way. We've lived here our entire life. I've ripped Fiesta Grill forever. Could I name exactly where it is and give someone directions?
Yeah.
I don't really know. Is it palm? Is it orange?
Yeah, I just know it's 17th, and I always tell everybody go down to PCH.
You got anything coming up with Violent Gentleman Hammer?
I don't know. Do you want me to? Can I plug a sale that's going on? Because we
Go
have
right
a big,
ahead. You got
we have
less
a big,
than a
we have a big online sale that's starting next week, and this will be the first place it'll get announced because we don't announce it until a couple days before. Oh, Dave,
Yeah.
Can I ask where you got this?
From you guys.
Okay, nice. We dialed you in. Okay, good. Okay, Kaylee, I love your VG that you wore to the event here.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Honesty wins.
And then I totally forgot the time zones, and then I was like, "Oh shit, it's starting now."
Hey, we talked about this. Time zones are tough.
I did try and plan ahead, and then I failed miserably. My computer's at like 20% right now.
You're like, hey guys, wrap it up, B.
I think we're gonna do a part 2. We're gonna have to have a part 2.
I'm ready. I'll be back. I'll be back.
We'll have to do episode 2.
Please do. We'll have you back soon. Thank you so much. We've been at less than a minute for over a minute. I just want to shout out I had Taco Bell for lunch today.
Oh.
Yes. Hey, support local.
I'm really
support local.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I think this is such a great concept, and the name is incredible. You guys are great, and I really appreciate it.
Love you very, very
awesome,
much.
Man.
Until next time, my friend.
Thanks very
again,
much, everyone.
Man.
Support local right now. Thank you.